Severus, the people that bought Chrysler and Hilton, all of these wonderful people of the Gilded Age. What do you think? A bunch of guys came up with $1 billion each and bought these companies? They bought them with no money down. That's where the credit crisis is coming from. Because when they buy these companies, they buy them with the expectation of future earnings. So the future earnings started to go down. They can't pay their bills. They need money. They call the bank. The bank say, I can't do it anymore. So we're just in the beginning of this. CDOs, SIVs. I mean, who makes up this stuff? FUCs. They got them all out there. And the people are going to be feeling it. That's on the economic front. The social front. Crime is you're going to see crime elements like we've never seen before. And again, current events form future trends. I love this little story that probably won't make it past this page of the New York Times. Accounts undercut claims by Georgia on Russian war. I love the language. Newly available accounts by independent military observers of the beginning of the war between Georgia and Russia this summer call into question the long-standing Georgian assertion that it was acting defensively against separatists and Russian aggression. Instead, the accounts suggest, I love this part, Georgia's inexperienced military attacked the isolated separatist capital on August 7th with indiscriminate artillery and rocket fire, exposing civilians, Russian peacekeepers, and unarmed monitors to harm. To harm? You blew them to bits! You killed thousands of people! Harm? Oh, it's the New York Times. Be nice. Be nice. And I love this little twist of language. Inexperienced military. What do you mean inexperienced? Or if they were experienced and killed them, it would have been different. This is why people can't see trends. They get clouded in the language of deceit that continues unabated. And the language of deceit and the performances that we saw, the spectacle of Obamaism, could not be greater than what everybody just saw. He was like a robot walking out into that stage on election eve. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. What have you done? Show me. Show me. Show me by your deeds. By their deeds you shall know them. What has any of these people accomplished in the past? So, as you can see, we can see what the future will bring. Oh, I lived in Chicago for 7 years. I know the south side of Chicago. And I know Obama was a state senator there for 7 years. He didn't fix up one block of the south side. Oh, now he's going to heal the nation and repair the world. What have the Democrats and Republicans done? Why would any intelligent person think differently? So that's what we see happening in the future on those fronts. And the fronts are going to continue to worsen. Russia has not forgotten what the United States did in they believe, provoking this Georgian war. Because the day that happened, the Russian stock market fell apart and has not recovered. They are now moving missile sites on the borders of Poland to be aimed toward Poland. It's the beginning of Cold War II. There are reports now going out that Obama and crew are planning tougher action against Iran. People ask me how I became a trend forecaster. I was working in D.C. I was working between Washington and Chicago in the 70s. And I'm always interested in politics. And I knew what was going on in Iran. I'd been following it for years. Every now and then the New York Times would write one of these nice stories in the magazine section about the brutality of the Shah, you know, the head of the peacock throne, the emperor for life in this life and the one beyond, and all these glorious names that they had attached to him. And I knew how the CIA overthrew the democratically elected government of Mogadishu in 1953, and how they brought the Shah and they plucked him out of the south of France and stuck him in there, and how they killed all the intellectuals and artists and everyone opposing the Shah, and how they instituted the Sabat, the secret police, and the brutality they would commit over and over again. So when the revolution began to happen in Iran at the end of the 70s, I knew it was real, because I knew the hatred that was building up. And you saw 1,000, 10,000, 1 million people taken to the streets. You knew it was real. Jimmy Carter goes over to spend New Year's Eve with the Shah and his wife. And in those days, when the president went overseas, it was a big deal. He returns, the helicopter lands on the White House lawn, and he salutes, he gets out, and he walks up to the microphones, and he announces to the American people that the Shah is the island of stability in the Middle East. At that moment, I became a political atheist. I'd been around long enough. I'd been with Ronald Reagan. I spent an hour with him one time. John Connally, I have a photograph of me and John Connally for the younger people who may not know who he was. He was the guy that took the bullet in the back from Kennedy. And we're parked out, and I have a photo of me, John Connally, and his wife. And we're standing in front of the book depository. And it's their first time back since the assassination. And he told the story of what happened that day. He had asked to see me because I had forecast in one of my earlier books, A Rise of a Third Party, and I mentioned for some reason Ross Perot would be the kind of candidate. And after that, we're driving back in a limousine, and I was with 4 other people. And he and I are sitting in the center of the limousine. The other 2 got out. We go back. We're walking back into the Anatole Hotel. And he said to me, you know, I read your work. He said, you fine work. He said, I know your heart's in the right place. He said, but you don't have a clue what's going on in this country. This is 1992. He said, neither did the American people. Because if they did, there'd be a revolution in this country. This is John Connally. This is the guy, you know, he's governor of Texas. He was a Democrat, Treasury Secretary under Nixon. This is a guy that knew the inside. And he's telling me this. He died several months later. And I always felt that when he was talking to me, he was talking to me as a dying man. Because as we're sitting across from each other, he had these terrible purplish splotches all over his hands. And it was from the gunshot wound. He had a bad lung wound, and they had him on heavy doses of prednisone, cortisone. And I saw my father, may his soul rest in peace, die from asbestos poisoning, from working in the shipyards during World War II. And they too had him pumped up with cortisone. So I really believe that that day I spent with Connally, that, you know, I could see the honesty in what he was saying about the corruption of the system. But going back to how I became a political atheist, I'd been around long enough. And so then what I started to do is I said, current events form future trends. If I don't take an ideological view of this, I can have a clearer direction of where things are going and what to do. And consequently, I started investing in gold and oil futures. And it was very profitable, and I was able to leave my job. So that's it in a nutshell. We have lame policies. We have a lame president. We have a lame Congress, and we can expect lame results. There are no magic bullets. What we can say to you is that the time has never been more ripe for real change. And the change is that people are going to grow up to the fact that you have people of lower intellectual and moral standard and respect and dignity than yourselves telling you what to do. If any world leader came to me and called me and said, Gerald, come over here, I want to talk to you, I'd say to them, come over here, you want to talk to me. I don't follow leaders. I follow my heart, I follow going to be the core of this new third party that we're seeing form in the coming years is going to be built upon the same issue that this country was built upon throughout the whole 1800s, the 19th century, and that was central bankers taking over the country. There's a huge group of people out there disgusted with what's going on, and they're looking for a new direction outside the federal system. So what we're going to see is two trends take place, one for more control and one to break away. Who wins will depend upon you. Thank you very much.